How's everyone doing on this wonderful night? It's your boy Indian Panini. I'm not yet with Rose or with any of these people. It should begin at 6. It was pushed back a little bit because 𝗍𝗲𝗯𝘀𝗶𝗁 needed some time. I guess he got delayed, but I'm pretty excited. How are you? Anyone in chat wanting to give their imagination, you know? So let's get started, man. So how you guys doing? How y'all doing? 7 viewers, PogChamps. I know we got some people in the chats on various servers. We got some people on TPK, the Political Kickback. We got some people on PRPD watching this debate, obviously. Hello, Melissa-san. How you doing? Mooney Pie. Yeah, I know you're streaming it on TPK. Good job. Thank you for that, by the way. Means a lot. Let me see. So if you guys don't know what's going on, obviously we're debating the alternative hypothesis. Obviously, you should know that by now. The alternative hypothesis is possibly one of the biggest race realists on the internet. He has garnered an immense following on, his platforms. He used to be on YouTube, but he got banned for, obviously he was a racist, so he got banned. Now he's on BitChute, where he has like 1,000 subscribers or something, but he's still pretty popular, and it's a great deal. It's a great deal for me to be able to thoroughly rebut his claims as a person of great power and knowledge on this particular topic. Obviously, I'll be debating with Rose Wrist, a very, very important streamer. You can go to rosewrist.com and check out his stream. I'm sure he's talking with chat, and he has way more viewers than I do. But as of right now, yeah, that's pretty much it. The other person that will be on the alternative hypothesis' side is, of course, 𝗍𝗲𝗀𝗀𝗃𝗏. 𝗍𝗍𝗃𝗏 is a person who is well known in the online politics community because of his phrase Alden's number. If you've ever watched that Vosh clip where Vosh humiliated that 15-year-old race realist by asking him what Alden's number was, and he said, I know what Alden's number is, and then Vosh was like, oh, I made that up, pretty based. But when it comes to, 𝗍𝗲𝗃𝗏, he's obviously not the smartest individual, but he's on that side, and I assume the debate will be nice. Sure. Okay. Looks like I'll join up with Rose Wrist in a couple minutes. Fascism will win. Are you an actual fascist? By the way, to anyone in chat, just a word of warning. There will probably be at least like a couple fascists coming into the stream. Don't give them attention. Just like ignore them, because if you give them attention, they're just gonna feed on it, So obviously fascism is gonna fucking people are gonna come into the chat and they're gonna annoy you. So just don't notice them. Just try to ignore these people. They obviously aren't very smart. So just take that as a word of warning, Yeah. Looks like actually it's not at 6 anymore. It's at 5:45. We get the carnage even earlier, everyone. Fascism will win. You're probably trolling, aren't you? That's fine. I like trolls. Based. Based. Okay. Okay, great. Let's see how many people are in TPK right now. Great. Based in poggers. Okay, I'm gonna DM Rose Wrist right now just to make sure that he knows what's going on. QF. Debate tactic, yeah. Dirty debate tactics. God damn, slippery. Let me text Rose Wrist to make sure. And then I'll put my desktop audio in so you can hear him, of course. Sorry for the blank screen, everyone. Unfortunately, I don't have much to show. We had a scene set up where we were going to have like a nice little logo thing and then have the chat relay. Honestly, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to put the intro scene back on because it's nice. Even though it says stream starting soon, it doesn't mean stream starting soon. Also, it says all of you pretty subscribers. By the way, if you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel. It is very important. You'll see not only this debate, but other debates as well on various different issues. We have the chat log going too, so if you type something in chat, it should show it. Yeah, just like a normal stream. Yeah. Ooh. Get ready for it, man. We're about to see some carnage in this land. Ooh, I'm excited, bro. I'm very excited. Very, 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 very excited. Okay. Let's get it, everyone. I'm not sure if Rose is going to call, if we're just going to call it 5:45. I think that's what we're just going to do. Yeah. Probably, yeah. We got 9 viewers, Pog Jams. Based in Red Pilled. This is great. Okay, I cannot wait. Cannot wait for this, man. This is gonna be some shit, ain't it? Okay. Hey, Sam. Sam C. Oh, hello, Sam. Hey, mamas. Sam, did you get that link to Lefty or? Hey Rose, what's up?
Hello.
You ready? 2 minutes before the debate. 2 minutes pre-debate, everyone. By the way, for everyone watching on my stream right now, this is Rose Rest, the person that has probably like 10 times my viewer count right now, but is streaming, and yeah, he's pretty cool. Say hi, Rose, for the PPH stream.
Hello, everyone in the PPH chat. My name is Rose. I can assemble furniture and drink water sometimes.
True.
Yeah.
Very true. Very true.
Definitely.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it looks to be like 2 minutes before the debate. Are you excited, Rose? Are you excited for this?
I'm hyped. I'm hyped.
Yeah. Okay. I might just text myself, Sam. Yeah. Okay. Okay. I'm glad. Okay. I'm glad. Okay. Based.
I don't know. This is. Oh, this is Indian Panini. Everyone who doesn't know them, okay? Indian Panini.
I'm in Indian Panini. Yes.
Yeah, master debater. Okay. Most of the other white nationalists feel talking from the rose credentials, drinking water, batting, and assembling used chairs. Yeah, exactly. That's the most.
True.
That's the best qualification I have.
True. You know it. You know it. Yeah. Oh man. Okay. Ooh. We got the group. We got the group going, man. Ooh. Okay. Let's get this.
Yeah, we're ready.
So,
We're ready.
One more minute to call, man. Okay.
1 more minute, assuming that they all confirm with already. Can you hit us with already in the thing just to make sure they understand what we're supposed to do?
Yeah,
and the
sure.
group is right ready.
I'm sure.
No, not with a question mark, my guy. just already, just like to say that you are ready. Okay. Jesus Christ. How old is Panini? Panini, how old are you? How much of a zoomer are you?
How much of a zoomer?
How much of a zoomer?
Ooh, okay. Right now, I'm 15 right now, but yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty. AP is telling us you should. No, that's okay.
I should what?
No, mods got it. No, people are just worried that like your chat's gonna get overflowed by like Nazis and everything. But
yeah, I got mods on the case. Yeah. Okay,
mods, get ready. Okay. Okay.
Get ready for the storm. Okay, this is okay. For, a lot of the stuff they talk about on the QAnon and stuff is false, but the storm to Roser's YouTube chat, and the 20th of December when the debate starts. That's the only true part about QAnon. Okay.
No. I think, okay, so probably, yeah, I'm not sure. I think you're fine. I think, oh my god, AJ's, okay.
Who's AJ?
Oh, your YouTube chat. They want you to disable your YouTube chat, because apparently your YouTube chat's going crazy.
Who is it actually?
There's apparently there's some weirdos. Do you have any mods in your YouTube chat?
I should have mods. What's going on? Who's AJ?
AJ? Oh, AJ is his name is Political Data. Essentially, like he's this like TikToker that is a hereditarian and believes in race realism. So I just debated him a couple of days ago, and I mean it's just the run of the mill hereditarian arguments, you know, easy to debunk, simple studies. Okay, I think
we're just waiting for Nikolai to ready up them. Fucking pre-game lobby, okay? Everyone's gotta be ready up.
Audio is only playing in your left ear? Oh, is there a way I can fix that?
Wait, what?
Apparently my audio is only playing in someone's left ear. That makes no sense.
I think that's just because I can hear you fine,
Maybe?
so there shouldn't be an issue.
Okay, I don't know, Count. It's playing in both of Rose's ears. If you guys have that problem, I can maybe fix it.
Wait, someone in my chat said that you only hear in one ear.
Oh shoot! Okay.
Everyone and people in my chat are saying that it's not the case. So
it's not the case. Okay, I'm not sure though. Okay, I don't know. Depends. I'll fix. I don't know exactly how to fix. Maybe it's something with my mic. I don't know if it's something with Streamlabs.
Maybe.
No idea. Okay. Communism will win. Left ear is best ear. True. Left ear is best ear. Yeah. Okay.
Guys, what's a Nazi?
I think we should probably call them.
Let's just wait for Nick to say ready. We're currently setting up Christmas lights.
Alden's number of Christmas lights. Yeah.
True. He's setting up Alden's number of Christmas lights. All right. Celebrating the tradition. All right. The second you turn 14, you will understand all 13-year-olds are cringe. I think it's by such a horny name. Wait, what? Oh, okay.
By the
all
way,
15-year-olds. Yep.
Yeah. Oh shit. Is legit split for me? Rose is on my right and Panini is on my left. What?
What is it on YouTube?
No, it's my stream, bro.
Oh, it's, okay. Your stream may be fucked. Okay.
I don't know. I have a Scuff stream, bro.
Hey, you guys should come to my stream instead. It's much. I have good audio balance.
Shut up. I'll have to fix that. Maybe it's filters. I don't know. Is a filter like? No. Okay.
I don't know. I have no idea.
I'll have to. I don't know Streamlabs, bro. I just click stream.
Oh my god. Well, maybe that's why there are issues.
No, bro. I have my mic hooked up. I have my headphones hooked up, bro. Based.
Do you have like good internet now? You're not gonna fucking leave on us like
my internet's based. Don't worry. Even though the United States is like really bad with editors.
Yep.
Sorry, internet editors, bro. What the fuck?
Yeah.
No. Internet, like ISPs in America are like terrible. I have decent. Bruh, why did my viewer drop? My viewer count just dropped 3 people. Damn. You guys really hate me that much?
Maybe they came to me, okay, instead because I have the proper audio balance.
Fuck, dude.
Nikolai,
Okay.
what are you doing, brother?
I know, bro. I think we should just call it like 550, honestly.
Sean's been typing for like half an hour.
That's fine. Yeah, okay. Oh, Jesus. Okay, bro. Nikolai's taking a while.
Yeah, man, those Christmas lights are he's really struggling with them.
Yeah, he's really struggling with those Christmas lights.
Bro, this guy, oh my god.
I know.
Maybe they're
Let's just call, bro.
I mean, he's not gonna pick up, right? And then
He went idle, bro. He went idle. Okay, down. Okay, shit.
We're just gonna be stuck in a call with like
Okay.
last. Right?
With last, bro. No, thank you.
Yeah, exactly. It's just gonna be kind of dead.
Bro, let me check your YouTube chat. I don't know. Is it going crazy?
I have no idea. I'm not looking at YouTube chat. Okay? I'm just saying them. I'm just using my website.
Degenerate YouTube chat. 95 people watching? Damn.
Oh, that's how it is. That's how it goes.
Oh shit. Let me see.
Okay, I need to.
Wait, did you guys ban AJ?
I don't know. I didn't.
Why did you guys ban AJ, bro? What did he say? Shit. What the fuck did he say, bro? It triggered you so hard, bro. What the fuck?
Okay.
Did he call you an idiot or something, bro?
Wait,
No,
what?
no, no.
I didn't ban anybody. Relax.
Nah, no, not you. Your mods, bro.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
I don't know.
Um,
Someone timed him out. Okay, based. That's fine. That's fine. I don't
Okay.
mind that.
There we go. We got the really professional-looking stream setup here.
Okay. I think. Damn, this guy's taking long. So what do you want to do to pass the time while we wait for Nikolai to show up, bro?
That's a good question. I'm not
Don't
sure.
worry. He's not gonna dip, okay? If he dips, like this is just him like dicking around, okay? This is not us. This is not our fault. We set this all up, and then he had to come in and was like,
Bro, I haven't read the debate question yet, even though I sent it to you like 3 months ago when we talked about it, you know?
Yeah, you sound exactly like a friend of mine I had in Spain for some reason. I don't know what it is.
Damn, okay. You had
with
in
that voice.
Spain?
Yeah, I live in Spain. Okay, I was out there. Okay?
Damn, bro.
Yeah.
You like paella? Bro?
Barcelona. Sorry.
You like paella?
Paella, bro. I love paella, bro. Paella is the. That's where it's at. Okay?
Yeah. No. Yeah,
I was trying not to swear to not get demonetized, but if you just want to get me demonetized, that's
bro, you're literally a streamer. You can swear, okay?
No,
You're literally a Twitch streamer. Just be quiet.
Yeah. Also YouTube. Okay, YouTube's a bit. No,
YouTube is degenerate.
As soon as YouTube hears the words race or IQ, it's like, okay, there we go. I'm demonetized. It's gone.
True. Maybe a good thing.
But
You know, maybe a good thing. Bro, I have 4 viewers now. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for that, buddy. Thanks for the 4 viewers, man. Feels good. Feels good.
Yo.
But don't worry. When the debate starts, it's about to go boom, 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 boom. It's about to go up, bro.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna prepare a Discord notification so that people know what's going on. When Nick decides to finish putting up his Christmas lights. Unprofessional, unbelievable. The academic facade is dropping already. Please. There we go. That message is prepped.
Oh, dude, okay. Based? Is that based? Oh, shit.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, why'd you have to... God, you gave me
What?
hope. You gave me hope.
What do you mean? Wait, what did I do?
You gave me hope, like the notification, the Discord shit. I was like,
I'm
Bro,
sorry.
he did it, bro!
damn, bro.
It's just me.
It's just
Roman.
fucking you, bro. Damn.
Yeah, I know. I
You
gotta.
fucking let me down.
They're taking their oof. The time is going. Okay. Maybe this is maybe it's a good
Disappointing,
fight. Okay. Maybe they're just. I mean, there's bad with numbers. Okay. Especially all this number. Maybe that's why. Okay.
Yeah. No. He was like, dude, man, Alden's number is the time that I must show up at this debate. Oh, fuck, but I can't find it. What is Alden's number? Yeah, bro.
I gotta find. I gotta look for it. It's prescribed in the.
Wait. AJ in YouTube chat. I'm not only gonna debate Sean. This is a 2v2. It's not gonna be a 2v1. We're gonna debate Nikolai. I understand that Nikolai is considered a terrible, terrible debater, but he agreed to this, and he was wanting it. He's the one that approached me for the debate.
And Sean agreed to have him as his teammate, so yeah.
He's not 14. He's 15, AJ.
But yeah. I mean, overall, the cumulative age between the two parties is like higher for them. So because
Sorry,
we do
man.
know that, yeah. So we'll be fine. AJ doesn't want you to debate Nikolai. That's too bad.
No,
Nikolai
yeah.
is a 15-year-old the kid, the Alden Summer chap. And Sean is Sean. Sean's the. I think he's a bit. How old is he?
Sean, that is true. You're correct.
How old is he?
I think he's like 50 something. No, I have no idea.
Wait, really?
He's a boomer ass.
Jesus.
Is super polygenic also a gene?
Yeah, I'm gonna be right back. I'm just gonna give Nikolai a call directly.
Okay.
Alright, I'll be right back.
Sorry about that, guys. This is like really weird. I had no idea he was gonna be this fucking late. To everyone who's streaming my shit out. What the fuck? I thought what?
Yeah.
Did you not? Did you try?
No, I need to be friends with him.
Oh, you
You're friends.
do you want me to try?
Yeah, go for it.
Sure. Okay. Sorry, I guess he's not friends with Nikolai. Okay. Wait, but we're in the chat together. He can just call. That's not. Oh, I guess he might have set his settings that way. I don't know. Anyways, to everyone in chat who's like streaming this debate, I want to thank you for that. That's really helpful. And I understand it's getting really boring now because like he's not showing up. But you know, just thank you for your service. Thank you for your hard-earned service. Let me call him though, just to make sure. Is he gonna answer? Is he gonna answer? The tension rises. Doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like it. Damn. Close. Is it gonna get there? Is it gonna get there, everyone? 3, 2, 1. Nope. Looks like it's not. Okay, we're just gonna have to wait for him to finish putting up his fucking Christmas lights. With that being said, is there anything you guys want me to do? You guys, yeah, that sucks. Damn. By the way, what'll come out of this debate is pretty awesome. We got a collaboration with the one, the only, the 𝗲𝗯𝘀𝗶𝗃 about our research document for this debate. We compiled a gigantic research document. It's not gigantic. It's synthesized for 𝗲𝗀's document, but we're hoping to append it to the 𝗲𝗀 Ultimate Research document so we can add a race realism section. Now, race realism is mostly like an academic thing. It's not really, you won't encounter it a lot if you're like a mainstream debater. Like if you go on like a social media site and you're not already into politics, you're not going to find race realists. But most 𝗲𝗀 viewers know what race realists are, especially those who are familiar with the alt-right. So we wanted to compile a research document that was full with resources on how to counter race realist arguments, how to essentially build an argument for your own side. Now, it's tough for a couple reasons. The first reason is that the consensus on this issue is more or less mixed between hereditarianism and environmentarianism. And obviously that kind of stuff, it matters. So there's no real like definitive conclusion if you look at the scientific consensus on this issue. Like you're not going to find people that say definitively, yes, the scientific consensus on race realism is that IQ is 100% genetic. No, there's going to be a lot of variance there. What we're trying to prove in this debate and what position we're going to take, right, is we're going to take the agnostic position. And that is that we don't know whether it's hereditarian or environmentarian, whether IQ is a sum of the environmental conditions that someone is under, or whether it is, in fact, a sum of genetic influences. Now, that's a complicated question to answer, and it's one that should be answered, and it's one that we will try to answer in this debate with the help of course, Sean Last and 𝗍𝗲𝗍𝗀 𝗍𝗏, who are going to be taking the hereditarian side, strictly hereditarian side. Now, I'm not going to give away any of our points because that would be stealing, that would be cheating, and I'm sure Rose doesn't want me to do that. So, that's just kind of laying the groundwork for the debate. The question of the debate is more specifically, let me make sure I have the actual question. What are the relations between race, genes, and intelligence, and what societal implications arise from these relationships? So essentially the first part of the debate will be more focused around, is IQ and race connected? Is IQ heritable? You know, what is the genetic influence on IQ? Do black, white people have like inherent genetic differences in terms of intelligence? And the second part of the debate is going to be mainly focused around, what do we do about this? We're probably going to assume that there are genetic influences or genetic differences between black and white people that cause them to have lower IQs, even though we don't ever believe that. However, we might have to assume that just to, like, you know, engage with their worldview, because these people, Nikolai and Sean, are both what you would call secessionists. They believe that races are so fundamentally different that they cannot coexist in the same space, and that they have to build separate but equal ethnostates, right, in which races live together. So that's essentially their solution to the problem of like IQ differences in race. which is honestly kind of a weird. It's almost like a cope. I don't want to get into like the details of it, but that's essentially what they believe. We'll be arguing against that. We essentially, if you know Rose and I, Rose is obviously a reformist, reform leftist. I think he falls more in line with like social democracy, but he's definitely a socialist. He supports workplace democracy and all that. If you know me, I'm a libertarian socialist. But the Progressive Powerhouse, of course, is a very diverse group of people. We have people who support, social democracy. We have people who are, anarchists. We have literally everything in this group. And that's why it's a great group, but also, it provides a diverse mix of different people who have different ideas. But for me, particularly, I am a libertarian socialist. Damn. I thought by now at least 𝗍𝗲𝗯𝘀𝗶𝗁 would have gone online. I guess those Christmas lights are taking a while to put up. I don't know. Damn. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Damn, bro. My viewer count just shut up from 5 to 10, bro. What the fuck did that shit? Okay, bro. If this is some Nazi invasion, I want to welcome all of you who are coming for the first time. Thank you for coming to the stream. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. It's a quick click away. We have videos. We have debates on various different issues. I recently did a debate on Black Lives Matter, the efficacy of the organization. We also did debates on other issues. We did debates on things like, I think another debate we did was like trans issues. We did debates on immigration. We do debates on all kinds of things with all of our various members. So go give it a subscription and then like this video so you can see more of our amazing content. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm really stalling at this point. I don't know what the fuck is going on. Honestly, I might start without 𝗍𝗲𝗯𝘀𝗶𝗁. There's people telling us to start without fucking 𝗍𝗍𝗯𝗀𝗃𝗃𝗃. Hello, Progressive Powerhouse. What are you doing? Who are you? Who are you, buddy? Who are you? We might actually start without 𝗍𝗍𝗯𝗀𝗃𝗃𝗃. This is getting fucking ridiculous. This is actually getting fucking ridiculous. No. Should we just start? I feel like it'll be better. We might actually just start because I'm gonna give you guys a show. I'm not gonna just like wait for 30 minutes to wait for this fucking kid, dude. Just start up the call. See who answers it. Dude, I'm sorry, man. This is getting boring. 𝗷cie, if you're watching, what's happening right now is 𝗍𝗲𝗯𝗀𝗃𝗃 has said he's putting up his Christmas lights, so it's taking him a while. I'm actually just thinking we just start the debate because Sean's already, so I think it might just be better if we just start without him at this point. I don't think there's any utility to waiting for this little... Oh my god, this motherfucker went offline, bro. Holy shit. Okay, we're starting, bro. We're starting this shit, bro. Okay, let's get it, though. Let's do it. Let's start with them. Let's start with 𝗍𝗍𝗯𝗀𝗃𝗃. Let's do it. Let's do it, buddy. Come on. It's already 6:05. Yeah, we should just start. Hey Rose, how's it going?
Hello, hello. We're still waiting for Sean and 𝗍𝗍𝗯𝗀𝗃𝗃.
Nikolai, yeah. Hey Sean.
Sean.
Hello?
Hello?
There you are. How you doing?
Oh god damn it, I can't hear anything.
Okay. Sorry
Do
about
you have
that.
any? Do you have any additional information about what's going on with Nikolai, Sean, or no? You can't hear us, right?
I don't think he could hear us. He's probably configured.
There we
some
go.
shit. There it is.
There we go. You got it.
All right, it works now.
Do you have any behind-the-scenes information about what's going on with Nikolai?
No, I mean, so far as I know, he's just doing Christmas lights, I guess.
Oh my
Maybe.
god.
I have no idea. No, but we just wanted to, we don't want to like stall our audience because we got viewers, waiting for some debating action. So we just wanted to make sure that we're fulfilling our promise for that,
Yeah, sure. I'm a bit surprised that I don't know anything you guys don't know.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, maybe we could just. Would you be fine with starting it off like this, Sean, or?
Do you care?
I don't particularly care. He might be, but he's so late at this point.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
if like, I don't care what
feel
he
like
thinks at
it's
this
not
point. Like he's
sure.
late, but it's just like if you are fine with starting this as us being two people.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's fine with me.
All right, fine. All right.
Sure. Let's get started, bro.
We'll make one opening statement. And do you want to take the opening statement, Panini, so we don't make two opening statements?
Sure.
I agree.
So, in this debate today, we were tasked with a question, and that question, of course, was this. What are the relationships between race, genes, and intelligence, and what societal implications arise from these relationships? Now, obviously, the first portion of the debate, which is the first question in the debate, what are the relationships between race, genes, and intelligence, is quite a simple answer. The fact is, we have no idea. The scientific consensus on this issue has been quite sparse. There isn't really a fleshed out position for either side. But generally speaking, there are two sides to this debate. Of course, you have the hereditarian side, which states that IQ is a heritable genetic construct, and that the divide between white and black people in terms of IQ is largely genetic in nature. And there are specific genes which cause this that might be unknown, but the heritability stat will tell us that genes do this. The environmentarian side, of course, is that environmental effects have influence on IQ, that the sum of the environment actually leads to the IQs, and that the differences in environments between black and white individuals is the thing that causes the differences in IQ between black and white people. Now, in today's debate, we won't really be taking either side. We'll basically be taking the agnostic position. We'll be doing three things in this debate. Number one, we will be trying to rebut any claims that our opponents will make in terms of the validity of psychrometric G, or the general intelligence factor. We will also be trying to go in depth onto a couple of things in terms of heritability stats in general. We'll also be discussing some other stuff, maybe twin studies, depends on where the debate goes. But generally speaking, we'll be taking the agnostic position. We won't be really fleshing out any kind of argumentative standpoint on this issue. We'll just be kind of saying that we don't know, and we're trying to discover what comes along as well. With that, I'll hand it over to I'll probably just hand it over to Sean then. Yeah.
Okay, sure. Yeah, so I'll be defending the relationship between race and IQ. On the one hand, IQ is a set of cognitive variables measured by IQ tests, obviously. Whether or not you want to call them intelligence is kind of a subjective question, but they're cognitive abilities that have practical importance in our everyday lives. Race, whether or not you want to say that race is a sort of biologically mandated category, something that I don't particularly care about, but obviously races refer to sets of people that differ genetically speaking, and there are many reasons to suppose the differences in IQ observed between groups are themselves significantly due to genetics. Some of the more obvious, I guess, reasons for this is that races tend to differ in cognitive abilities, which are more subject to genetic change and less subject to environmental ones. They tend to differ in the sorts of cognitive abilities that we see group differences in other species in very commonly. The high heritability of IQ within racial populations makes an environmental explanation less likely. Specific considerations of environmental hypotheses tend to come out not supporting those explanations. Polygenic scores differ by race in a way that is consistent with what you'd expect given a hereditarian explanation. The relationship between racial admixture and IQ is what you'd expect given a hereditarian explanation. Racial differences in brain size and similar IQ-related anatomy fit the hereditarian position. And the explanations in terms of things like test bias don't really come out the way that you would need them to, and the consideration of history, both written history and before pre-written history, makes the idea of racial equality still more implausible. So I guess those are the primary sorts of reasons. I don't know if we're going to spend most of our time debating IQ in itself, race in itself, or the interaction between the two. And in terms of the societal implication, I guess the other side of this question, for me, the societal implication that matters is just saying that some of the things that we often blame white people for are not actually the fault of white people.
All right, can I take the first stab at this, Panini?
Go ahead.
All right, so there were a lot of things laid out there, and we need to discuss them one by one, obviously. One of the first things you discussed, which it's quite contentious, is that you said that the adjustment for cultural factors in IQ tests does not make up for any significant amount, or I don't know if you're going to go as far as to say any amount at all on the IQ tests. There is a study published by Fagan in the year 2006, published in 2007, that states that when you control for things like specific cultural knowledge differentiations between different populations in the United States of America when it came to IQ tests, the entirety of the black and white IQ disparity dissipates. I'm going to send it to you in the debate group chat. This seems to be, a fairly important study to this discussion. I'm going to quote just a little bit from it, just so for the audience sake, and to give you some more time to just skim through it if you want to do that. African Americans and whites were asked to solve problems typical to those administered on standard tests of intelligence. Half of the problems were solvable on the basis of information generally available to either race and or the basis of information newly learned. Such knowledge did not vary with race. Other problems were only solvable on the basis of specific previous knowledge tested on conventional IQ tests. Such specific knowledge did vary with race and was shown to be subject to test bias. Differences in knowledge within a race and differences in knowledge between races were found to have different determinants. Race was unrelated to the G factor. Cultural differences in the provisions of information account for the racial differences in IQ.
Okay, so this is the paper in which they're comparing their performance, just to make sure I'm thinking of the right paper, their performance on standard IQ questions to ones in which they were sort of given an opportunity to train and learn the lessons beforehand. Is that the correct?
Yeah, essentially, yes.
Okay, right. So I mean, there are a lot of things to say about this, I guess. In the first place, so to me, this looks most like a kind of rote memorization test. Now, if you look at analogous rote, I know that in the Fagan papers, I guess there's the one from 2006, and they had a earlier one, I think, from 2002 that was very similar.
And the replication in 2008.
It was a replication in 2008. Yeah, sure.
We should let him speak.
Yeah.
So they like to compare it a lot to verbal tests. I don't think that's the most apt comparison. Like I said, to me, it feels more like a rote memorization test, which is similar to like a forward digit span type test. And the issue is that the racial gap in the forward digit span test to begin with is only something like 0.2 standard deviations. You look at the sample sizes that they have going, and they're not even remotely close to being statistically powered to detect that kind of a difference. And in fact, in some of their experiments, because there are a bunch of them, you often see gaps of, like, say, a 0.1, 0.15 standard deviations in favor of white people, even on these trained items. They say, but they call that nothing because it's statistically insignificant. But of course, the difference between that and zero, while being statistically insignificant, is also the difference between that and, say, a 0.2, 0.25 standard deviation difference, which is what you'd expect just based on other tests of rote memory, and racial differences is also statistically insignificant. It's not sufficiently powered to detect the difference. Another thing to say is that I don't think that this stuff is very G-loaded, which is, it might matter depending on your theoretical perspective about the race and IQ stuff. If I remember right, they try to relate it to G in a few ways in the different papers. There's one in which they say something like their stuff correlates with about 0.5 with verbal vocabulary tests, and those vocabulary tests themselves tend to correlate with G. That's true, but if you multiply the correlations, that implies a correlation of something like 0.2, 0.3 with G, which is not very high. And then in their later paper, I believe they actually directly measure G, and that is in fact the kind of correlation they report, 0.2, 0.3, something like this, which is to say that it shares only a very small fraction of its variance with G. So I don't think it's a good measure in that. And then also, there's this huge issue of gene-environment correlation involved. So even if it was true that we interpreted the study on its as they intend us to interpret it, we'd have to ask the question, why is it that white people evidently have spent more time, say, studying the meaning of words or something like this, depending on the experiment we're talking about? And that itself can be due to a genetic difference. Indeed, I think a significant part of racial differences in intelligence are caused by the ways the genes cause us to create different environments for ourselves. And so I guess those are, we can start there anyway. That's plenty of issues.
Okay, so
You want to begin?
yeah, okay. So the problem here is that essentially you kind of started off with kind of a bad take there. You said that this was a rote memorization test. It wasn't a rote memorization test. It was a cognitive ability test. It was basically trying to measure the ability to process knowledge. The particular analogies that they gave and the sayings that they gave at the beginning of the study, which were tested later on in the after study, after they did all the, obviously the teaching of the particular cultural knowledge, those studies weren't the same as the ones that they had done in their teachings. They got new studies. It was the adept cultural knowledge that they got from the beginning or in the teaching session of that particular study that they used to actually do better on those IQ tests in the later portion of the actual study. In regards to the sample size, the replication in 2008 actually expanded the sample size and found the exact same thing. So in regards to that, that's not really an objection. To be honest, when it comes to, I guess, on G, we can talk about that a bit later, about why we might reject G as a concept, and we might go with a bit more of a more cogent theory on psychometrics and cognitive psychology, which is mutualism. Apart from all of that, though, your last statement there kind of stuck out to me, which was, why would white people spend more time actually going through these vocab words, this vocabulary? It's because, generally speaking, white people have access to higher education. Vocabulary is not something you learn. It's not like epistemic knowledge. It's not something you gain as a child. Vocabulary is an external entity. It's something you learn through school, through interactions with others. Generally speaking, in higher socioeconomic statuses, people tend to use, bigger vocabulary, and people in higher socioeconomic statuses go to better schools. Those better schools teach better vocabulary. That vocabulary is just intrinsic, is given to the white people more than the black people. It's completely. It's also a bit of a burden of proof on your part to prove that there is a genetic component to people wanting to learn words, which is a very, very big statement there. That's a very big positive claim that you made. In terms of just the generality of your criticism of the study, it just seems to be that most of the criticisms that you levied against the study are either irrelevant, non-existent, or it depends on what you need to prove.
And on top of that, because you laid out a bunch of points, critiques, I'm just going to address them as well. So another thing you said is that this one wasn't as G-loaded. I'm not sure if that would help your case. Typically, more G-loaded tests tend to be even more culturally biased. So there's that. And then there's a second part where you said that this study doesn't take into account gene-environment correlation. This is similar in nature to a lot of the EEA arguments that we'll hear. But this sort of rests on a like circular logic, right? That's what we're trying to prove. We're trying to understand this sort of gene environment correlation when it comes to things like this. So, when you make the argument that this study doesn't account for a factor or a variable or a premise that is actively being debated within the study, it's a form of circular logic and is invalid. But yeah, feel free to respond.
Okay, so we should probably, I think, take the objections one at a time so we don't continually you guys responded 3 points, then I responded 3 points. It's probably not going to work as well. So I guess starting with the last thing, with the gene environment correlation, I guess I don't really see. I'm not sure what you mean by it being circular. It's not. Circularity would be a property of an argument. I'm not even sure it's an argument. It's just an explanation that it could be the case that white people seek out certain kinds of cognitively demanding context more than other people do genes.
Yeah, you'd have to prove that. It could be the case, very well.
It could be the case, yeah. Also, that is an argument because you're using that as a kind of objection to the study itself. It's like, this is a reason why these people would do this. This is an argument for why these people would have higher vocabularies to begin with. So that is technically an argument. The way that Rose is saying it's a circular argument is that basically in order to prove that these IQs are genetic, you're basically assuming that there is a genetic difference here. But that's a circular. That's the reason we're calling it out for being a circular argument. So essentially, what we would want here is a proof that there is in fact some genetic difference that would cause white people to seek out vocabulary.
I see. Okay, I think this maybe rests on a misunderstanding. So the way, so you're right that it plays a role in the argument, but I guess the argument, the way that I would say it plays a role in the argument is the following: that because of the existence of an explanation like this, we cannot conclude on the basis of the Fagan study, again, even if we ignore what I consider to be other problems with it, that racial differences in intelligence are due to the environment. Now, that conclusion would hold. I don't see that there's a burden of proof to show that such a gene environment.
It would actually prove that there was an environmental difference, because if there was, after the teaching of those cultural knowledge, an increase in the IQ of black people in that particular study, then that would prove that the environment, i.e. the teaching scenarios, did improve that IQ. So that's not true?
Okay, maybe we're using the term environmental explanation in a different way then. So what I'm talking about is an ultimately environmental explanation as opposed to a merely a sort of
what do you mean by
approximately one. So
like,
what I mean is that
sure.
it is true. So I would say that it's definitely true that part of the racial differences in intelligence are caused by environmental differences between races that themselves are caused by genetic differences between races, and that would not be an ultimately environmental explanation in this sense. The ultimate explanation would be genetics. And so that's what I mean when I say that the study would not demonstrate an environmental cause.
Wait, okay. So when it comes to like how much percentage we attribute to environment and genetic, in this particular case, if we're talking about whether the environment itself can influence the IQ to a reasonable degree to close the black-white IQ gap, that is specifically talking about between group differences. If we're going to talk about within group differences, such as within group heritabilities of white people and black people, that's a different issue. Of course, there are twin studies out there that will prove that the heritability of IQ in those particular within groups are like of a certain degree. But I would say that that's kind of ancillary to the point of whether there are environmental influences, such as knowledge prior to test in this particular study, that can actually remove the differences between the black and white IQ gap. And it seems to be, with this study in particular, it does.
Yeah, and fundamentally, this all comes back to the fact that if you want to, think this is a typical thing that often happens when people bring up studies in debates. If you think of or you come up with a confounding variable or something that is not justified in the study, the onus is on you to provide the evidence indicating that that is a relevant variable and that hasn't been adjusted for accordingly. On top of that, there's also the fact that the initial statement you made, which is why I brought this up in the very beginning, was that when you adjust for things like culture, it's not enough to close the white-black IQ gap, which is the point I was trying to prove with the study, and which the study does prove rather well. So maybe you might want to shift your initial statement towards a different point, but yeah, that was not the initial statement you made.
Yeah.
So, okay, so I guess there are two things here. So firstly, in terms of my initial statement, I would be, I guess, very surprised if I used the word adjust. I'd have, I guess, re-listen to it. It's not like I wrote it out or anything like that. But because I'm writing on sort of going through the different environmental hypotheses, trying to explain racial IQ differences, and I'm very clear to say, to make this distinction about ultimately environmental causes, to say, just as another example, I think that years of education partly causes racial IQ differences, but that those differences themselves are due to genes. So I think that what I'm saying right now is fully consistent with my general position, and if it's not consistent with what I said in my opening statement, that would be a misspeak of the opening statement, I guess, although, again, I doubt that I missaid it in that way. But to return to this gene environment thing, so again, I mean, I think there are other issues with the study, but to stay with just this one for the moment, at least, the onus is not on me. I mean, it's just a question of what does the study justify? And surely, I mean, do you think, for instance, that something about this study justifies belief in the proposition that there are not genetically induced racial differences in the propensity to seek out cognitively demanding contexts? I mean, I don't know how the study could even attempt to justify it.
Sure, but that's not the question of the study. The question of the study originally was whether there are environmental influences that could close the genetic IQ gap, specifically the knowledge prior to test. That did come out of the study, that there was an ability to close the black-white IQ gap through testing and through knowledge, through teaching the cultural knowledge that was needed to do well on these tests, and they found that it did close the black-white IQ gap. I guess that's kind of shifting the burden of proof. But I mean, you made the claim that, or you made the question. I guess it was a question that what if there were genes that gave white people more of a propensity to seek out vocabulary, seek out education. But I mean, you would have to prove that again, and if you don't prove that, essentially you've got kind of an empty burden of proof there.
Yeah, I don't. I feel like maybe we're talking past each other on this particular point.
I mean,
maybe we should agree to disagree about this. It's like a weird thing to disagree about, though.
Well, I mean,
it's just
we're disagreeing about your inability to fulfill the burden of proof. I mean, like here's the thing. So the way you would fulfill this point is if you made the point that yes, maybe there are genetic differences between white and black people that cause white people to have more of a propensity to seek out vocabulary knowledge, right? If you were to provide a genetic explanation that provided genes, analysis, phenotypes, proteins, etc., that could actually tell us an actual biological pathway to how these people develop a propensity for engaging with complex words, then I would agree with you. I would say yes, there are genes like this that cause white people to have more of a propensity for vocabulary. But if you don't provide those genes, if you don't provide that analysis, I'm afraid you have yet to meet your burden of proof. And if you can't meet your burden of proof, then the point is vapid.
Yeah, fundamentally, we're taking the agnostic position, and you're taking the affirmative position.
Well, I would say. So firstly, I mean, I'm trying to stick with one point. I kind of want to move on to. There are reasons to think that's the case, I suppose. But I guess, what are you trying to use this argument to do? Because if you're trying to use this argument to say that this is evidence that the racial differences in cognitive ability are not due to genes, and there's actually a genetic, a very plausible, even if it's not true, right? Even if it turns out that the genetic explanation here is not true, the fact that it's a possibility seemingly shows that this study does not warrant belief in environmentalism, which I took to be why you brought up the study.
But
Sean, well, the reason we brought up the study is because you made a statement that we could demonstrate was incorrect. We clearly said in our opening statement that the position we're taking is the agnostic position. There's no way to prove a hereditarian or an environmental standpoint right now. We do, however, know that there are significant effects on IQ through environmental conditioning, but it's impossible to state the exact percentage. That's the onus for you. The onus on that is on you to prove that. Yeah, I mean, sure. It's so, like fundamentally, if it's a hypothesis that is like unfalsifiable, you can say, well, isn't it possible that this is the case? Well, yeah, sure, it's possible, but you'd have to prove it.
Exactly.
So if you don't think that it's possible to estimate the degree to which the gap is due to the environment, what conclusion are you drawing from this study? Because I guess normally when people use this study is taken to show that the gap is significantly environmental.
Okay, so the reason specifically why we brought up this study, why Rose brought up this study at the beginning of the debate, was because you made a statement you made a particular proposition in your opening statement. You said that studies on test bias on IQ have not turned out well, right? They haven't turned out any reasonable degree of capability, right? I don't think that's the case. We brought up that study essentially to rebut that claim, and since we brought up that study, the claim that we were trying to disprove was your claim, not our claim, right? We aren't making positive claims as of right now.
So I think I actually misunderstood which thing you were responding to. I didn't realize this was supposed to be a response to test bias. I thought you were talking about when I said something about how the environmental explanations, when you look into them, they don't justify a belief in.
Well, it was a mix.
Yeah. Wait, we never made that statement. You very clearly said you talked about cultural differences and performance in IQ tests, and that's the research we provided. We're not saying that this study here proves an environmental position. We're just saying that it disproves your statement that controlling for these factors does not eliminate the biases. Exactly. And also, for people who are watching, Nikolai has now joined the call. You can feel free to introduce yourself, Nikolai, and then we can give you a brief rundown about where we are right now in the discussion.
Yeah, what's up, guys? I've seen this paper before. This is the Fagan and Holland paper, right?
Yes.
Yep. Yeah. Here, let me give you something on it.
Your keyboard's quite close to your mic, man.
Yeah, I don't have a mic.
That's fine. Don't worry.
What took so long with the lights, by the way?
Ooh, here we go.
Okay. Anyway, so to clarify the relationship between this and my initial statement, there are two things. Like, one, So
So there's
I still don't
there's
see
a
that
lot
this.
of problems with this paper. It's kind of it's not really plausible, what this paper is claiming. Basically, it claims that IQ is measuring knowledge instead of processing, right? Or instead of processing, because they declare intelligence to be processing. Is that right?
Yeah, okay, so they do a little bit at the beginning of the study talking about the differences between knowledge and processing ability, but the main focus of the study is to actually show that processing ability doesn't differ between race, but knowledge does, right? So that's essentially what the study was trying to prove, and through the implications of that study, they also proved that closing the black IQ gap is as simple as providing the prior knowledge necessary to understand the IQ test.
Yeah, but it doesn't.
Wait, hold on, 𝗂𝗲𝗯𝘀𝗶𝗁, I think you missed out on some context because you were putting up lights.
Yeah.
Initially, Sean made the statement that controlling for cultural differences in IQ tests does not close the gap. And that's why we brought up the study, to disprove that statement. So we're not trying to extrapolate this into something that we're not arguing currently. That is a
The
specific
cultural
purpose for the
differences.
position of this. The statement by
the-
Sean was that adjusting for the cultural differences does not close the IQ gap.
So the first thing is that the study was not. I know this paper fairly well. It's been a while since I read it.
Yes.
Is some pretty obvious flaws with it. First of all, sample size is pretty small. No, that's not
addressed in
necessarily
the
big.
2008 replication.
What?
That's
That's
addressed,
addressed
in the
in the
replication.
2008 replication.
What is
What?
the sample size in the 2008 paper?
I'd have to look at it.
Are you sure you're not talking about the 2007 one?
The 2007 one is the one that we cited, but there's a 2008 replication that does it with a bigger sample size and finds the same result.
Yeah, it's by the same researchers. Here, let me find my stuff on it. I don't have it bookmarked.
Okay,
It is
but
by the same
even
researchers,
you were about to say anyway that the sampling size doesn't necessarily mean that the study's faulty. So keep going with your other critiques.
Yeah, I need
Well,
to
no,
find
a
it.
small sample size definitely can mean the study is faulty, depending on what you're trying to do with it.
It could be.
That's
Yeah.
true. Yeah, but the sample size is addressed in the 2008 replication of the study, so that's an irrelevant critique. If you wanted to go into
that's
other
fine, that's
critiques
fine.
that you made, such as
Well,
Uh,
is
So,
the
yeah,
probability-
let me keep his points going. Yeah, well, what else are we gonna
Can we just establish what the sample size of the 2008 paper is?
All right, we're
I
gonna
mean, it could be very large. I don't know. I don't remember.
Yep. We can dig for that while 𝗂𝗂𝗯𝘀𝗶𝗁 continues.
let me find this because I have it in my I have it in my paper.
𝗂𝗂𝗯𝘀𝗀𝗀 left it.
What the heck?
Yeah, his audio is something else, man.
This is the best the race realists have to offer. Champions.
Find this. I believe it had a pretty big sample size from what I saw, because I know this addressal of this study is often burdened by the sample size, so I can probably figure this out.
We can
Yeah.
probably discuss something while. Oh, have you found it?
I believe this one had a sample size of around 2,500 people. It was a pretty massive study because they got a lot of funding from the.
First one.
They got, of course, they got a lot of funding from their initial study, so they got a replication, the ability to do it in a bigger way, and they found the same results in that particular study. So, is there any other critiques you want to move on to, such as the one that I mainly wanted to get onto was this idea that it's a rote memorization test. I don't necessarily think that this study was going over a rote memorization test. The main thing that this study was trying to do in regards to its IQ test was trying to measure the cognitive processing ability of the people who were actually taking the tests, right? Now, the cognitive processing ability was measured by allowing these people to have the vocabulary necessary to operate with the test, because black people, on average, have a lower level of vocabulary knowledge, right? And that makes a lot of sense because they're of lower socioeconomic status, they tend to be poorer, they tend to have less education, which probably makes sense why they would have a lower vocabulary. Now, with this cognitive ability, right, we can measure whether or not there's a difference between black and white people When it comes to the difference, it seems as if you control for the cognitive processing ability, which is what the study did, you find that the black-white IQ gap shrinks to 0, or at least very close to 0.
Well, I mean, obviously, I disagree with things about like socioeconomic status being a plausible explanation for the differences in cognitive ability. But if you give people the definitions right before you test them, how is that not just testing the degree to which they can, just here's a bunch of information. To what degree can you memorize?
No, it's not the test on the vocabulary. You need to utilize the vocabulary in your rationalization process.
Exactly. Yeah, it's not like a general, like this is
a vocabulary test.
This is a vocab word. This is the definition. It's not like that kind of test. Essentially, the 3-part test, I believe it had a test on word patterns, sayings, and then analogies. The 3 different, I think they did like 3 studies in one. So the 3 studies were those specific types of tests, and basically they gave some cultural, some vocabularial knowledge in the testing portion, or the teaching portion of the study. And then when they took the test, they were given new problems. They were given new situations to actually work out of. So this wasn't like a situation of like studying for the test, like a vocab test at school. This was more of just measuring cognitive processing ability, because generally speaking, the goal of an IQ test is not to measure memorization, is to measure, your intrinsic intelligence, your cognitive abilities,
I see. Okay, maybe it's just that I know in one of their papers, maybe it's just the earliest iteration, the 2002, they did have something much more similar to rote memorization. But I mean, there was one where it was like about recognizing faces and stuff. But anyway, okay, so if that's true, then that does in fact not sound like rote memorization. But I guess I'd have to look at it. But in any case, I still think another issue is the gene-environment correlation problem, and the fact that I'm not convinced these things relate significantly to gene.
Well, if we talk about the gene-environment correlation, because this is, I think this may be the sort of roadblock we run into here. We need to kind of wrap our heads around this. So we are taking an agnostic position. We're saying that there is no evidence right now that can prove any hereditarian or complete environmental arguments. Now, there is work on the environmental side that indicates that there is significant effects on IQ through environmental conditioning. However, what exactly the extent is, we don't know. When you say, for example, the gene-environment correlation thing and how that might disprove the study, this already assumes, right, that there is the ability for somebody's genetics to influence the type of communities and the type of social spheres and the type of environments they surround themselves with. So then the onus is on you to provide evidence for that, rather than just say it, because it's sort of assumes the conclusion of your argument already.
Well, okay. Well, I don't really agree with this onus thing, but whatever. We'll just sort of walk over that. So I mean, the claim that the contexts are heritable. I mean, we can just talk about twin studies, I guess, and whatnot. Like the heritability of neighborhood deprivation is significant, for instance. The heritability of learning materials in the home, if you go by twin studies and the like, is significantly heritable.
Sure.
And as I say, then there's this other thing about, does this actually relate to G, which is, I know one of the things you wanted to talk about was the validity of G in the first place.
Yeah, if you want to talk about G,
we can. Okay, before we do that, I just want to put a pin in this. Yep, the statement that when you account for cultural bias, the IQ, the black-white IQ gap dissipates, does not seem to be true, and it's not been proven to be true in this debate. So we'll just put a pin in that, and then we'll move on to G. Do you want to?
Just one thing, I guess. So one last thing to say is that if there's a bunch of other lines of evidence which indicate that racial differences in intelligence are caused by genes, and then we see a study like this, assuming there are no other issues with it, which we're about to talk about the G thing, but assuming that there are no other issues of it, then that is a justification for thinking. Yeah,
but you would have to prove that, right?
Ultimately, environmental explanation.
Yeah,
we haven't gone over those other lines of evidence. Obviously, I believe in those. We can talk about those other lines of evidence.
Okay. Let's move on from this point. Do we want to? We can move on to G if you want, because I have my own problems with G. But I want to first clarify with you exactly what type of G that you're actually trying to push forward in this debate. Are you specifically going to endorse Spearman's G, or are you going to, go with the more modern hierarchical model of G?
Well, I mean, so it depends on what you mean, I guess, by Spearman's G.
I mean, like the original G.
Yeah, I mean, to some degree, the factor structure is hierarchical. It's not just there are specific abilities, and then just G, there are group factors. I don't think that's
Well,
really a
I
matter
mean,
of controversy.
What I'm asking, do you believe in like the equation that Spearman came up with, that every IQ test each subtest score is made up of three factors: the general factor G, the specific subtest score, which is uncorrelated with the other subtest scores, and then statistical noise? Is that what you believe, or do you believe that there are a network of hierarchical factors with G at the bottom, higher order factors, and then lower order factors, and then statistical noise, which make up the individual subtest scores?
I think that mutualism is the best model of intelligence, in my opinion.
What the fuck?
Yeah, we agree with you 100%.
We definitely agree with you on that. Mutualism is a great model, yeah.
But Sean, you can go ahead.
But Nikolai, if you believe in mutualism, then you can't buy into any kind of G loading. You can't use G loading as an argument because mutualism doesn't buy into G.
Yeah, I know.
So you are going to use G loading as an argument. Are you going to say that unequivocally?
What do you mean? I kind of just got here. I had to get my mic.
Well, Nick, if you're going to say that mutualism is the type of system that you're going to use for the IQ, psychometric, whatever, does that mean you're going to forsake any arguments when it comes to G? This is no preponderance on Sean, by the way, because I'm sure he has problems with mutualism.
One sec. Wait. 1 sec. I need to move to a different location. Sorry.
Oh crap!
Sorry about
mute
that.
your mic while you do it.
Yeah, maybe.
We can just use our volume, turn them down, and then we can tell them to. When you get back, send a message to the chat. Okay, Nicola.
Here.
We'll on user volume mute. Okay. Anyway, Sean, keep going. Go for your G.
Yeah, go on, Sean.
The statistical structure of intelligence is such that there are also group factors, which Spearman initially did not have in his model.
So you believe? Okay, Nikolai, what are you doing, bro? Dude, are you on a bus or something? Holy shit! Like, what the fuck?
He left. Okay, whatever.
Okay. Let's.
Okay, Sean, just go for it.
Bro. Okay, let's continue though. So you believe in group factors then? You don't buy into like the whole Spearman shit?
Sure, if you want to put it that way.
Yeah, because the problem with Spearman's G, as you know, is if you're supposed to control for the common factor, the residual correlations really should be 0, which doesn't happen, you know. But if you want to go to group factors, I would ask you to prove something. So when it comes to G generally, when it comes to this theory of group factors and hierarchical G as like a model, oftentimes this is done through exploratory factor analysis, which essentially comes to finding general factors among correlated variables. But the problem seems to be that anytime you have a list of correlated variables, there will always be a general factor. Whether or not they are completely unrelated, completely obscene, if they're correlated in any way, shape, or form, you'll get a general factor. Through exploratory factor analysis, you get this. But the fact is, this tells us nothing about if there are actual latent variables that are causing the particular individual scores that we're seeing. If you were to provide me a justification for if G was in fact a latent variable that existed in IQ scores...
Position, sorry.
Okay.
Wait, Sean. Okay, so when I said that mutualism was...
Wait. Finish this thing, and then you guys can sort out what you're predicting.
In order for you to prove that G is a latent factor, a latent variable in IQ scores, you would have to do confirmatory factor analysis, which is essentially where...
Yeah.
Okay. You'd have to do confirmatory factor analysis, which is essentially where...
Yes, I agree.
I'm not talking to you, Nikolai. Holy fuck. Jesus Christ. Okay.
We're talking to Sean. Alright. Okay.
Sean. Yeah, so you'd have to do confirmatory factor analysis to find this, and all tests on G doing confirmatory factor analysis has been inconclusive. There hasn't really been like a general consensus around whether G actually exists from confirmatory factor analysis. If you would provide me like a paper or some calculation that shows
I've got papers.
Through
wait, talking to Sean.
Yeah, through confirmatory factor
I keep
analysis.
forgetting.
If you were to
Okay, so basically, confirmatory factor analysis hasn't proved the point that G is something valid that should be used, and not only has it, been inconclusive there, but there's also a significant amount of evidence indicating that mutualism is. There's a lot of positive evidence for mutualism that for the same quality of which does not exist for G.
No. Well, here, I agree that G, like the G versus mutualism debate, is not settled. But I have a good article from 𝘄𝗲𝗯𝘀𝗶𝘁𝗲 on this. Here, let me.
You have
Here you go.
article
Here you guys
from
go.
𝘄𝗲𝗯𝘀𝗃. Is
Is it
this
a research paper?
Is it a research
You know, he does
paper?
not.
Yeah.
It's not a paper, but it's kind of an article that sort of explains, like what mutualism means for hereditarian models and for G.
I mean, generally speaking, the mutualism thing is supposed to counteract the notion that you need to G-load every test. A lot of the hereditarian arguments come along from the fact that, like, if you don't G-load this, it's immediately invalid. The problem is, like, G isn't a useful...
No, I don't think that.
So,
No,
I mean, well,
I don't think
okay,
that
Nikolai, if you're gonna go for mutualism in this debate, you're gonna have to forsake any arguments in regards to G-loading. I mean, you can't...
I'm not
use
going for
that-
mutualism in any debates. I'm not going for mutualism or G. I'm just saying that it's not. I'm saying I agree with you guys that the debate on the structure of G, how all these factors, correspond to intelligence, it's not incompatible with a hereditary model. I'm not saying that G loading, that necessarily that means that G is, that if it's not on G then it's hollow, like the Flynn effect isn't on G. That doesn't mean that it's not on other factors of intelligence. But I'm saying that it's not incompatible with a hereditary model. Would you agree with that? There's like
on its own, it's not, but I mean, in combination with other things, it probably is. But it doesn't matter. I mean, simply, yeah. Go ahead.
It's incompatible with a lot of arguments, though, that hereditarians make. Like, the reason
Yeah.
why we're talking about this is because I brought up a concern about the degree to which the tests using the Fagan papers are G-loaded.
Oh,
I don't know what we're
yeah,
going to make
okay,
of
sorry.
that if we adopt a mutualist framework.
Yeah.
Well,
Maybe we
I
can
was-
just let Panini. Maybe we can just let 𝘄𝗲𝗯𝘀𝗶𝘁 and Sean argue.
True. Yeah. No, but Sean, do you have a response to that about the confirmatory factor analysis? Do you have a paper that shows confirmatory factor analysis on G?
Sure, I guess I'm not even sure. So exactly what you Nikolai, can you mute your microphone while you're not talking? Because you're making a lot of noise.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Oh.
So with respect to the confirmatory factor analysis thing, I guess I'm not exactly sure what you mean on two levels. One, confirmatory factor analysis doesn't, I don't think, significantly evidence the it doesn't somehow prove the existence of a latent variable in a way that exploratory factor analysis doesn't also. And then also, I guess I'm not sure what you mean. I mean, obviously there have been thousands of confirmatory factor models fit to data on intelligence that satisfy typical thresholds for model fit. I mean, normally what mutualists talk about is they make a claim about how they can develop mutualist models that do even better on those measures of fit. And we can talk. Is that what you're referring to?
Well, no, I'm specifically referring to if you have a proof in terms of confirmatory factor analysis on whether G is in fact a latent variable. Your claim that confirmatory factor analysis doesn't prove that there is in fact a latent variable is kind of true, but it gives us it gives us more of an ability to determine whether in fact there is a latent variable that exists in the positive, that it like comes out of the positive manifold. But if you were going to if you're going to prove that like G as a construct, right, has basis in some latent variable that exists in intelligence, what you would have to prove is you would have to give me a confirmatory factor analysis proving that G is some latent variable. So far, controlling for residual correlations and such, you haven't really been able to narrow down the model to anything, and it just seems like it's kind of grasping at straws. I'll actually give you it's more of an article than a study, but it does have a statistical calculation in it. It basically, let me see if I can, there it is. So this article, I guess, shows and details basically an analysis where the author has like 12,000 different individual intellectual abilities that are all correlated with one another. He confirms like IQ tests, he creates batteries of these tests, and he loads a particular general factor on all of these particular variables that he's testing, and he still does find that the G factor, whatever he calls it the G factor, will account, or will account for a lot of the correlation there. You can't really create this kind of latent variable factor without doing this confirmatory factor analysis. And so far, there really has not been any kind of confirmatory factor analysis done there. If you could provide me one, I'd love that,
Okay. I'm just going to link a random paper. I mean, this is, if I understand your claim correctly, this is a really weird claim. Like, literally, like, thousands of confirmatory factor analyses have been done using the G model. I mean, this is a mutualism paper. This is a paper often used to advocate for mutualism, but they run a confirmatory model for G in it, and it, as I say, it's not like it radically unfits the data.
I mean, the title of this paper literally is "Empirical Evidence Against G in Favor of Mutualism."
I know, that's why I called it a mutualism paper. It was something I had up because I thought you were going to talk about the mutualism.
Okay, so are we going to go? What's going to happen here is that we're going to look at like one specific paragraph or one sentence from this paper, and then ignore
Rose. Don't even get it. This model is talking about the Spearman 1904 model. It's going over Spearman's G, which was already proven to be negative to confirmatory factor analyses. That doesn't prove what you want it to. This isn't showing that if you do confirmatory factor analyses, it proves that G is some latent variable. It's actually proving that it isn't.
Yep.
No, I mean, this is based on a hierarchical factor model.
The first page literally says it's going over the Spearman model of G.
Sure. So what they're referring to there is just the idea that there is a single latent variable atop of the statistical structure of intelligence, and that it can be. I mean, I think they actually mean something a little more substantive by that. Also, that it ontologically can be interpreted as something like Spearman's mental energy, but they don't mean that there are no group. I mean, you can look at the model they test. It has.
Yeah, this is Spearman's
this is not
model,
what mutualists claim.
Yes.
What mutualists claim is that the fit statistics are better for their models, but no one claims that there just like haven't been confirmatory factor analysis using G. This is bizarre.
Well, but this confirmatory factor analysis exactly proves our point that the confirmatory factor analyses that have been done on G have proven that G, the residual variance in regards to G. I mean, look, the classics. Look at the particular variables on the confirmatory factor analyses. If you were to control for G, you would expect the residual variance of these particular subtests to be 0. The residual variances in the classics were 0.21. No. The residual yes, that is exactly what you would want to see in a Spearman model. Yes, because the particular subtest scores are supposed to be uncorrelated. So if you controlled for the actual general factor, the residual variance there should be 0. Right here, it shows that the residual variance is 0.21, 0.34, 0.44, 0.54, 0.61, and 0.65. That is way away from 0.00, which is exactly what you'd need to prove the G model through confirmatory factor analysis. So I guess
it is not.
Top of that, additionally, well, just general like issues.
Wait, Rose.
Just, like, this is a general thing. It's probably not going to be okay. You know what? Go for it.
Okay, so I remember this article by 𝗱𝗶𝗀𝗀𝗰, right?
Your mic is spazzing. 𝗱𝗶𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀🐐
𝗱𝗱𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀
Oh yeah. What do you have an issue with it?
I have a lot of issues with it. So, in fact, there was an entire, you know, the Human Varieties blog.
A
No,
blog.
I don't populate your servers.
No, the blog. No,
I
it's
don't
not somebody
know
on
what
my
that is,
server.
no. Not your server. I
don't know
don't
if you-
populate your realms of the internet. I'm asking. I'm saying I don't know what that is. No.
Basically, no,
Okay.
it's a blog. And keep going.
You know this article I just put in the chat.
Dalliard.
Dahlia.
Okay.
Do you know this
okay,
blog?
Okay. Can you just explain what's
Okay,
wrong
so-
with the article? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just wondering if you guys like already know something's wrong with this article. So there are several errors that 𝗱𝗲𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 makes in this piece. I quote from Dalliard.
Dude,
So
are you climbing a
𝗲𝗄𝗄
cliff?
first.
Holy shit! What the fuck is wrong with your mic, dude? Are you surfing?
I just
right
don't
now?
have a good mic. I'm sorry.
Okay,
I-
okay.
my-
It's like
Like
okay.
I don't have a lot.
Okay.
I have a literal Logitech headset. That's
Okay.
and before that, like in my Vosh debate, I was just talking into my computer.
Okay.
So I'm
Yeah. So
sorry. I'm sorry if
what's your problem with the article? Just like lay it out.
Okay, so first thing is 𝗲𝗄𝗯𝘀𝗶𝘁, I quote from Dalliard, 𝗲𝗄𝗯𝘀𝗶𝘃's first error is the assertion that cognitive tests correlate with each other because IQ test makers exclude tests that do not fit the positive manifold. In fact, more or less the opposite is true. Some of the greatest psychometricians have devoted their careers to disproving the positive manifold only to end up with nothing to show for it. So, that's one of them.
Disproving
I
the positive
don't think that was your...
Wait. The positive
What?
manifold is largely like not disputed in psychology. Most
Yeah,
people
I know,
agree
but
that
this is something
subtests
that
will
you put
correlate.
in your article. Okay, that's one of them.
Well, that's not
Well,
my article.
we can't
I'm not-
respond to everything that's said in an article they link. Like, this is just, like, what's relevant is what they actually say.
Yeah, I know.
Right, because otherwise we could spend literally forever just talking about some random
some
article
random
they link or
article,
I link
yes.
or...
Also, it's a
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd
Yeah, I
rather
agree.
talk about the validity. I'd rather talk about like what Sean was saying there, which is that.
Yeah, can
If
I
you
finish
were-
the thing I was going to say before Nikolai
Yeah,
interrupted me?
go
then?
ahead.
Yeah, so beyond what Panini said then with the numbers now SOB 0.00, there is also significant issues just when it comes to academic practice with reading or citing a study that has like specific parts from it that has an overall conclusion that you disagree with and cherry picking those examples to prove different points from the final conclusion which you're going to end up at. Because these people are the people that are most familiar with their data. These people are the people that are educated within the field and are able to extrapolate them into the correct things. If you take certain parts from different studies and kind of try to like mesh them together into some form of like red pen drawing board,
That's not
gonna
what I'm
give you
doing. That's
I'm not
irrelevant.
talking to you. I'm talking to
That's
Sean.
completely irrelevant.
I'm talking to Sean.
I'm sure we're talking to Sean. Man.
With the
That
Sean.
isn't what Sean's doing either.
That is literally what he
That's-
did. But,
No, that I definitely was citing a paper, and I mean
No.
you were out of the debate for a
Yeah,
bit,
bro.
buddy.
for like,
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Sean, the fact remains that according to Spearman's G model, which is exactly what this paper is testing, since the subtest specific factors are uncorrelated with one another, if you were to control for the general factor, which is G, you should get residual variance of 0 because there should be no correlation between the scores, right? But the fact is, the study that you actually cited said it didn't. So you've got this kind of contradiction here. So I guess I'll reform my previous question or my previous assertion. I would like you to provide a confirmatory factor analysis, which provides that the residual variance after controlling for the various general factors is 0.
Do you mean the residual covariance between abilities?
I mean the residual like
Because when
correlation
you say
between-
variance, I mean G typically explains something like 30 to 40% of the variance.
Well, no, I'm
talking-
specific. Yeah, so what I'm saying is if you control for the general factor, since the subtest specific factors are uncorrelated, that residual correlation between the scores should be 0, right? If G is correct.
No.
Yes.
Here, one second.
Okay, sure. I mean, you're probably okay. You're not. Your mic is making very horrible noise.
Do you think you're trying to like push to talk?
Like deeply
or-
horrible.
Okay. Hey, go first.
You've probably seen this if you're familiar with the mutualism debate. I think this is the sort of thing you're talking about. This Gignac paper, residual group level factor associations, positive and
Gignac?
negative,
Okay.
negative implications for the mutualism theory. General intelligence, which finds an average residual correlation of 0.
Yeah, so that's a quick rebuttal. Vandermoss and Kahn actually responded to Gignac's. Is this the 2014 or the 2016 paper? This is the 2016 paper. They
responded
responded.
to both of them.
They responded to both of the papers actually.
Yeah.
In this particular paper, in which they debunked the claims made, and they obviously the model that they did with their networking is the order model that was actually created in, I believe, it was the Vandermoss model in 2006. Later, Vandermoss created a second model in 2017 about which has, in my opinion, a way better statistical model. Of course, there are no Gignac rebuttals to that one. However, the Vandermoss article or study in 2016 rebutted the claims of Gignac 2016, and there really hasn't been a response from Gignac ever since. It just seems honestly, most of this stuff is just in Gignac is just appealing to parsimony. So it's not really I don't see the point in entertaining that.
I mean, it's been like responded to, and there hasn't been a counter response by the opposition. So
yeah.
So I mean, I would say a few things. So firstly, this is bizarre. Well, okay. What to start with? Firstly, there's literally a Gignac paper responding to this response paper. So to say that he hasn't responded,
there's another one to that,
is untrue. But the response I thought was horrible. Let's just talk about the response, though. I thought the response was not compelling at all. I mean, they talk about how, if you go back to the 2006 paper, the mathematical formalism of the mutualism model can be consistent with this observed structure. That's true, because it's a completely ad hoc model in the deep sense. It can be consistent with almost any set of positive interactions between cognitive abilities. As I say in the paper, they can fit the M parameter of the model to make it so that it is mathematically equivalent to, in terms of its predictions, a factor structure model. That's true, but that doesn't explain anything. It's still just a coincidence on their model that it would turn out that way, whereas on the G model it's not. Because it's a more probable observation on the G model than the mutualism model, it's still significant evidence in favor of the G theory.
Wait. Okay, you said something really, really weird there. Mutualism is ad hoc. All of these theories are ad hoc. G is ad hoc too. You just look at the correlations and you derive factors from it. If you want to say it's not ad hoc, you have to prove through confirmatory factor analysis that the residual correlations are zero, which you haven't done so far. Secondly, no, this doesn't prove the G model.
Whoa, wait a minute. This is so the claim of. Firstly, the claim of van der Waals is that their mathematical formalism is consistent with residual correlations of zero. They don't dispute that the residual correlation was zero.
Wait, no, they don't. Wait, Wait. Okay, so you're saying that van der Waals says that the correlations after controlling for G is zero? I highly doubt that, because you have not been able to provide any kind of literature proving that the residual correlations are zero. In fact, the one study that you did said that the residual correlations were well above zero. So, I mean...
No, that's not. Okay, that is just manifestly not true. That's what this Gignac paper tests, is the residual associations between group level factors. And what van der Waals says, I mean, it's not even in the abstract, it's in the highlights of the abstract. For people that don't even want to read the abstract, it says the mutualism model of general intelligence does not imply that there should be consistent positive associations between group level factors. They say that the mathematical formalism of their model is consistent with zero residual correlations. Again, I don't think that's an adequate response at all. But you're saying something that I mean, that's just not true.
Wait, that the residual correlations aren't zero? Yes, the residual correlations aren't zero. Like, I'm very, very confused here. So you're asserting that mutualism is consistent with the fact that there are residual correlations of zero? Yeah, the mutualist model provides a better analysis of intelligence because the residual correlations do turn out to be zero under the mutualist model. In regards to whether G after
you were just saying that the residual correlations aren't zero.
Yes, under G, not under mutualism.
No. Okay, I'm very confused here.
I am
the
too.
Gignac paper. So tell me what you disagree about this. So the Gignac paper from 2016 looked at the residual correlation between group level factors. He found an average correlation of zero. Van der Waals et al. Responded by saying that those zero correlations found using that factor structure are consistent with mutualism. Which is very different.
Yeah, so Gignac found zero residual correlations with G?
Yes.
Okay. Wait, okay, so are you sure about this?
That the average correlation between group level factors was zero. Yeah, that's the whole point of the paper.
Wait, average correlation between group level factors. So this is just proving that. Oh, okay. So essentially, So what you're doing here is you're essentially just reasserting Spearman's model. Then you're not proving anything, because the Gignac model didn't control for G. What it was doing was it was saying that the individual subtest level factors are uncorrelated, which is exactly what Spearman would have suggested.
Once you extract G.
No. They didn't control for G. That study was specifically trying to rebut mutualism by proving that the residual correlations weren't zero under the mutualist framework.
No, I mean, again, this is not like you don't have to read the paper. In the abstract, it says it was hypothesized that if the mutualism theory is plausible, there should be some consistent positive association between group level factors controlling for the effects of the general factor. That's what it tests.
No, what are you? Are you reading a different study?
I can link it again.
You can try if you want, but I honestly don't understand what you're.
Well,
okay.
surely
The
succeed.
mutualism of theory of general intelligence posits the positive manifold arises because of mutually beneficial interaction between originally orthogonal constant abilities rather than because of genuine. Especially reported the strength of G was largely constant, was an indirect failure to confirm the mutualist theory. In this investigation, a second set should be positive level associations controlling for the effects of general factor. Examine this possibility. Associations between cognitive ability group level factors were estimated across a series of 7 relatively large validated single factor models were estimated against the 7 group level intercorrelations. The corresponding single factor residual correlation matrices were observed to yield an approximately equal number of positive and negative residual correlations and an overall mean of 0. Furthermore, the only moderately consistent residual effect was a negative association between crystallized intelligence. Although an only indirect test, the results are interpreted to be more supportive of G factor theory. Okay, so essentially, wait, but this isn't controlling for G.
Yes, G is extracted. That's why the group factors don't
No,
correlate.
it's not.
They
It doesn't
correlate
say
before
anything
you
about
extract.
G being extracted. Why were you lying?
Not
I
lying.
mean, like, I don't know what.
Okay, I feel like we've
I'm
kind of
not
run into a wall
entirely
here.
sure what your point is here. Like, you're just kind of. Okay, because, like, you're essentially just saying that the individual subtest scores are uncorrelated? Is it that. What? Isn't that just Spearman's model? Like, what? This doesn't prove anything. Like, the previous confirmatory factor analyses that have been done has clearly shown that Spearman's G model has not gone with residual correlations of 0. Like, this is literally just not true.
On top of that, then there was the rebuttal of mass, which we could get into as well if we wanted to.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, like,
we should,
do you
So,
want
so you asked me for evidence that the residual correlation between group factors was 0 after extracting G. I link a paper saying that, and your response to that is, but that's not true?
Yeah, it doesn't control. I'm literally reading the paper. It doesn't extract G. What it's doing is proving that, generally speaking, when you look at these particular subtests, these subtest level factors in the model are uncorrelated with one another, which is what mutualism would have said. By the way, what was your objection to von der Maas's rebuttal to Gignac?
That they basically said that the parameters of their model can be fit to be consistent with this, and that's true, but that's not an explanation. And we can get to that, but first let's deal with.
Wait. Okay. So that's not what this says.
That is what it says.
No.
it
says literally the third highlight of the abstract, because G theory introduces a latent variable, it is not more parsimonious than the mutualism model. The second highlight literally states that there isn't a mean of 0 when extracting G. I mean, like, I like, it's just a comment on the factor analysis. Like, I don't understand what exactly your point is here.
I feel
It
like we should
doesn't
probably
even extract. It doesn't even extract.
We should probably move on to
It doesn't even extract G. Like, like, you're just lying here, man. Like, and also you have to respond for Gignac appealing to parsimony. So, do you have a response, or?
on the person.
Well, I mean, I don't know how to respond to you. I mean, there are general factors extracted in the model. I'm
reading the study right now, but it's not. That's not what it does. It's just proving Spearman's model, which is that it's trying to prove Spearman's model, which is essentially that the subtest level factors are uncorrelated. That's all it's proving, which is a postulant or proponent of Spearman's G. That's largely what we're trying. That's like the main portion. What's the deal here?
Okay, we're not gonna get anywhere. We're just gonna keep like circling around this one for another, I don't know, 15 minutes. Okay.
Sure,
All right.
Sure. Okay. Let's move on to the second portion of the debate, if you want, which is the societal implications regarding regarding.
Well, we did not make much progress in terms of the causes, but I guess we can.
I mean, like it seemed to be so. There seemed to be some fundamental issues in the first part of the debate, especially seeing as you and Karkarov were not on the same page at all.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
so then, if we keep going on this, we're gonna get derailed every time Karkarov's his internet provider decides to plug his stuff back in, and then we're gonna get derailed again, and then he's gonna dip again to I don't know, do something else. So I think we should probably move on to something that you and Karkarov are on the same page on as well, for that reason.
Also, I don't appreciate you lying about that study, Matt. I was kind of weaselly.
Okay, we're moving on. We got to move on to the societal
let's
implications.
move on.
Well, can I take the opening statement?
Yeah, let's move on. Go ahead.
Or actually, it's your Sean. Do you want to take the opening statement, or can I?
You can do it, I guess. I mean, you didn't do an opening statement before, did you?
No, it was Panini that got the first one. So I was just meaning out of the two of us. If you want to start the opening statement to the second part of the debate, or if I should do it, but I'll do it. The second part of the debate, there is no necessary causal relationship between the first part, which is the relationship between race and intelligence, and the societal implications of it. There is not a single policy proposal, paradigm, way of orienting society that necessarily prescriptively follows from these findings. Even if we lived in a world, and even if me and Panini conceded on practically everything, well, at least that Sean was laying out, Karkarov seemed a bit confused. Even if we agreed on everything that was being laid out by the opposition, we would still advocate for the same political positions we advocate for today. And there is no way that in itself can justify any type of segregationist, ethno-state, or anything of the sort. To support this argument, we have a wide range of different arguments, some of them having to do with the efficacy of making these changes. Some of them have to do with the mandate to make these certain decisions. Some of them have to do with the feasibility of doing these decisions, and some of them just have to do with just the general ideological and logical ideas and premises and conclusions drawn in order to make the argument for a more for changes to be made to society that segregates or otherwise creates enclaves of racial groups based on pseudoscience on race and intelligence and other pseudoscience on race in general.
Okay, is Nikolai here?
Nikolai is gone.
I'm not sure. He just dipped, man.
Okay,
He's really spotty or something. I have no fucking idea.
Whatever. So, well, okay. Well, this is just gonna be weird. I mean, I'm not an ethno-nationalist. I don't even know what.
Wait, what's your model? Can you lay out a model? What do you want to do?
What do you believe? What do you believe in, man?
What do you believe in, Sean?
Well, like I said before, for me, the societal implication of this is just that I think there are certain anti-white attitudes festering on the left, and that we should. They're not justified to the degree that sort of racial inequality is explained by things that aren't actually the fault of white people. But that doesn't mean that we need to create a white ethno-state.
Okay, hold on. Even if what you just said was 100% true, even if there was some degree of inherent genetic difference between black and white people, why is that an argument against remedying systemic issues of inequality and resource distribution within a country?
There's overwhelming evidence that there is in fact systemic inequality in America that stems from racial bias, and we can prove that underhandedly. There isn't even a there's so much evidence.
Yeah. Even if what you just said was true, even if that was part of the reason why there is a disparity between black and white Americans, it still doesn't follow from that we shouldn't try to adjust the environmental discrepancy that exists.
So obviously, I don't agree about the systematic bias thing, but yeah, sure, of course. I mean, I didn't say that this means that we can never give money to black people under any circumstances, something like that. All I said was that we shouldn't feel angry or resentful towards, or in any negative way towards white people on the basis of accusing them of doing something they didn't do. That's not a policy implication directly. It's just an attitudinal one.
Okay, so we talk a whole bunch of different things here. Blaming whites, I don't know, this just seems like a boogeyman to me. This is something that generally happens where white people, there are some, I agree with you, there's some crazy fucking lefties that are fucking white people put us in this position. Generally, there's no sorts of policies that advocate for example, white people today to just just pay black people's things or to like impose blame on them for things that have happened in the past. But okay, so fundamentally, what is your argument against? Okay, we should probably agree first on that they exist in the first place. When it comes to things like should we start with what are the type of discrepancies you believe that exists or that people talk about systemically between black and white people that you don't believe exists?
Well, I mean, they talk about rich differences in income and blaming that on white people, or arrest rates and blaming that on, or crime rates and blaming that on racism, or things like this. I mean, you know the. Okay. I feel like I don't need to tell you what.
We can 100% talk about this. Okay. We're ready for this. Systemic racism, that's one of our favorite topics.
Do you want to I mean, like, I understand that I don't want to, I guess, rebut on this, but, do you not think that racial differences in income, generally speaking, stem from some kind of, racism by outcome? Because, redlining and generally, bias in terms of employment, all these things definitely do factor into the class of most racism, right now. If you want me to provide studies on that, I could, but,
And on top of that, we can further strengthen an argument so that we already we're already operating this on the assumption that we could concede the premise that there is an inherent disparity between black and white people. Even then, we would make the same arguments. We can further strengthen this where we can say that even if today there are no further forces pushing black Americans down and elevating white Americans, even if we concede that as well today, that is it's still the case that through discrimination in the past, which, oh boy, you'd have to do a lot of legwork to indicate that there wasn't discrimination in the past. There is no form of force in society that pushes people towards the middle and that after a few generations equalizes everyone to an equal playing field. Discrepancies in the past that are not addressed will still be expressed today. It's like a race. If you have two people racing, one of them gets injured, the other person sabotages for the other one, they shoot them in the leg or whatever, and then somebody comes up and say, hey, you're no longer allowed to shoot someone in the leg when you run this race. That's not going to help the person that shot in the leg, right? They're still going to be so far behind. That's not going to help them. You're going to have to address the core issue, even if we acknowledge that there's no one currently shooting that person's leg over and over again. So yeah, that's the beginning argument.
Sure. I mean, and obviously I don't think that historical discrimination explains modern racial inequality either. And we can talk about this, although this feels like a totally different debate topic. I mean, we all are interested in it, so it's somewhat related, so we could move to this, but...
I mean, the question was what are its broader societal implications, and if you're trying to say that the IQ race stuff is supposed to stop us from addressing these forms of core systemic inequalities and core issues of systemic racism in America, it seems like it's pretty reasonable to discuss it in the debate.
Okay, sure. I guess we want to start with income then, and we can just do this thing by thing.
I mean, we don't necessarily have to do thing by thing, right? So let's just work through the premises of the argument, and then you can let me know when you disagree. So there existed forces historically, not too long ago, I don't know exactly where you want to draw the line, that significantly hampered the ability for black Americans relative to white Americans to get high income jobs, to save wealth, to live in good accommodation, to not be persecuted by the police, stuff like that. Do you agree with this?
There was a time when that was true. I mean, it depends on what you mean.
Okay, perfect. I still think that a lot of those are true today, but even if we go with that was a time that was true, that still works perfectly for our argument. Okay, so do you believe in, you should, because this is just statistical fact, but depending on the conditions of your parents or the people that you live with or whatever, depending on their socioeconomic condition, that can predispose you to having a higher or lower chance of attaining a high quality of life. Do you agree with that as well?
A high quality of life? Do you mean you
or socioeconomic condition? Like the socioeconomic condition of your parents influences the socioeconomic condition of yourself?
No, I mean, I think that the parental influence is very weak, and if we're talking about a multi-generational effect, that's virtually zero.
Okay, so you don't believe in things like generational wealth gaps and stuff like that? Generational poverty?
Correct. Certainly not over many generations. Within, obviously, we're talking about a specific context.
I mean, there were
the United States.
It depends on how many. Even I could go really far right and say a lot of generations here, but we don't even have to do that for the argument. There people alive today, like grandparents of people that weren't allowed to go to certain schools because they were racially segregated. We don't have to go that far back at all.
Sure, that's So I think that's a slightly different issue. But even if there are people, and certainly there are, that are alive today that were alive during segregation, that doesn't show that, again, modern wealth gaps are significantly caused by those disparities. With respect to
wait, no. What you just said was is empirically and logically completely false. So before you lay out the next point, I just want to like go down that. So, do you believe that the opportunities for somebody who is born in, to a wealthy household with two parents who are able to, for example, get tutors for their education, say they would need it, they're able to give them proper, transport to their educational facilities, that live in a school district that has a high quality of educational attainment, that are able to afford the food and the healthcare needed to keep someone safe and keep someone mentally healthy and stuff like that? Do you believe that that person has an equal chance of attaining a high socioeconomic condition than somebody who's born in a ghetto with lead in the walls, whose parents are poor and working all the time? Sometimes, there's a high risk of divorce depending on the different socioeconomic class. Where you live in a really shitty school district, the classrooms are overcrowded, there's enough funding, there's enough teachers and stuff like that. Do you believe that those two people have an equal chance of succeeding in life?
I mean, there are a few things. So, do they have the same chance statistically? Obviously, no. But I think a lot of that is just genetic confounding. And with respect to race, I mean, you and I probably have a different idea of what the racial differences are.
Wait, hold on. So, are you trying to say that the only reason why that is a statistical effect is because of like race and like gene stuff?
Within a particular context of variance, yes. You look at the adoption studies on income.
If we look aside from the genetic bit, because for the sake of this argument, we have already conceded that. Okay, so do you believe that the racial differences? If you completely look aside from the thing, if we had two people with both of them that were white, okay, both of the people in the example were white, do you believe that they have an equal chance of succeeding?
What do you mean? Obviously
not. Right?
Different in some other way, no.
Wait, yeah, they don't have
the chance of success. It has to actually affect it, though.
The material conditions themselves have an effect on it, right?
There are material conditions that do, but again, if you look at adoption research, adoptive offspring, their income does not correlate with their adoptive parents' income, suggesting that the relationship normally seen between parent and offspring and income is almost entirely due to genetic confounding. And again, if we're talking about many generations, this becomes a much more severe problem still.
Okay, many generations, we already addressed that. We talked. It's people
are you
like
disputing?
today.
Are you disputing the idea
exactly.
of? Wait. Are you disputing the idea of generational poverty? Like, I could give you so many different sources for the idea that generational poverty exists in America. Like, this isn't even a disputed fact. Like, if we're going to talk about like social understanding in America, generational poverty is one of the biggest things in America, especially with stickiness on the ends. It's generally considered that if you're poor, you're probably going to be poor. If you're rich, you're probably going to be rich. If you're middle class, there's a bit more variance there. But when it comes to the ends, and black people tend to populate the lower end of the spectrum way more than white people, it seems to be that you end up staying in your generational situation. If you want to study on this, I could give it exactly to you.
Look, we are willing to engage with things that are so far away from like academic consensus as we have done in this debate. We've literally argued like race realism, which is like a joke. But if you're gonna make the claim that like generational wealth doesn't have like a significant, even you seem to be making the argument that doesn't have an influence at all on like on the wealth of an offspring compared to their parents, then like I don't know.
Don't forget about redlining either. It has a significant effect on black.
I mean, that's just one. That's one of the dozens.
I can send you a couple different studies on that. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is also assuming that there is no force today that is further perpetuating this, which is also a massive like
departure from the truth. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, these are a lot of different things. We can talk about redlining, but let's. I feel like that would be moving on from another thing. I know this correlation between parent and offspring income is obvious.
A causation, not a correlation, a causation.
Yeah.
But I'm denying that it is significantly causal outside of a genetic component, based on the evidence I specified previously.
Do you have a gene that would cause people to gain more wealth? Like what?
That's a cool fucking gene. I wish I had that.
Do you have a gene?
I mean, income is significantly heritable. That's not disputed.
Okay. First of all, heritability does not mean genetic determination. Don't use that argument. So I'm gonna need a gene, not a heritability stat.
Heritability is trying to it expresses the amount of variance within a given population that is on account of genes. So, for example, if we talk about, like having 5 fingers, that would seem intuitively, given like the word hereditary, that would be a thing that is like very, very high heritability. But in reality, the heritability of having fingers is extremely low. And that is because most of the it's extremely low. That's because most of the variation
variance
that
is
comes
caused
with
by environmental factors. Yeah.
exactly, like getting a finger chopped off,
Correct.
right? So yeah, this hereditarian argument is just a fundamental misunderstanding about what it's trying to say, what it means.
I don't know. No, I mean, I was citing it within the context of explaining variance and income. That's what I'm saying. Variance and income is significantly attributable to variance in genes. No, you don't have to specify a specific gene to justify that statement.
Well, okay, so if you're going to say that the variance in income is caused by a variance in genes, I wouldn't disagree. 10 people who have, traditionally African genes tend to have lower lower incomes. People who have, I don't know, like you'd have to prove, again, that there is a significant, there's a gene there that would actually cause people to have lower or higher incomes, which is a very hard burden of proof for you to meet. Otherwise, you're just relying on a heritability set, which could include many different things, including gene-environment covariates, passive-active and reactive covariates. You could do gene-environment interaction stuff. It's not only the gene that's causing it. In order for you to prove that, you'd have to actually find a gene.
This is still irrelevant. Like this, so. Even if you agree that the EEA is true, right? You like that, right?
I guess you could put it that way.
Okay, cool. Okay, so even if we had 2 monozygotal, whatever that was called, twins, okay, and we separate them at birth and put them in completely different houses. One of them, like I mentioned before, poor school district, lead in the walls, parents aren't around, they don't have time to help them with things, not enough economic resources and education, food, stuff like that, housing. Compared to the other person who is living like a upper middle class lifestyle with easy transport, food, healthcare, access to good education, stuff like that. Do you believe that these 2 people have an equal chance of succeeding at life?
Succeeding with respect to what variable?
Do you believe they have an equal chance of attaining the same amount of socioeconomic standard?
No.
Okay, so then you're saying then that the environmental part has a causal effect on where you end up in life, on your socioeconomic condition, correct?
Oh, yes, income is not completely heritable. It's basically
Okay.
but we're talking about specific environmental variables. What I was talking about before was the effect of parental income on offspring income. That is not the same thing as talking about the effect of the entire environment on someone's income.
But why is someone's parental income weaker, right? It's because of these environmental factors.
What I'm saying is that parental income does not, the adoption literature suggests that parental income, not to mention several studies on random shocks to family wealth, suggest that parental income is not an important causal variable for offspring income, even across one generation, again, let alone 2.
But even if I concede that, I don't, that's incorrect, but even if I do concede that 100%, you still admitted that to some degree, there is a causal relationship between what environment you're raised in and where you end up socioeconomically, correct?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Wait, why did you just lie, Sean?
Yeah.
Again, lying Sean, slippery Sean, man. Okay.
Even if he lies, he's still lying.
No.
What did I lie about now?
Dude. Okay, this is from the Pew Research Facility. Among the report's key findings, approximately half of parental income advantages are passed on to children. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
why did you lie, bro?
Okay, this is very silly. Tell me how that study design corrects for genetic confounding in a way that is similar to random shock.
Confounding? Wait, you'd have to assume that genes influence income.
And you would have to prove that once
you would have to prove that, which you haven't done.
No, I mean, this is silly. So, firstly,
it is very silly. I agree with you.
Income, but I don't even have to assume that. Even if genes don't influence income, which is ridiculous, it is still a fact that parental income doesn't have a significant influence on offspring income. Again, like you have to look at research.
What are you talking about? You're just lying.
Two monozygotic twins raised in 2 different households, one of which is wealthy as fuck, and because they're wealthy as fuck, they can give their kids good education, good housing, good food, good healthcare, whatever the fuck, okay? In another case, the exact same, the monozygotal twin is put in a house with parents that have poor income. They're given poor education, poor healthcare, poor housing, poor food. Which one of them will have a higher chance to succeed?
I've already said that, of course, there's going to be a difference between them if we're talking about these large composites of the environment.
Okay, perfect. So then, directly,
we're talking about income.
Parents, as an effect of the parents' income, you, as a child, have
No.
higher or lower chance of attaining a certain social
No.
social class?
All those
Dude,
things are not
what are you talking about, dude?
parental
Literally.
income.
Like no, this isn't even argued. I just brought. There's like 3 studies that I could cite right now, which all show that parental income has a sizable effect on child's income in America.
Okay, do you not understand why showing a parent-offspring correlation does not demonstrate causation?
No, wait.
But in the example I provided
This
with
is
you,
providing
the genetic
causation. This isn't
material,
just
the
like-
genes.
The example that you keep talking about involves more environmental variables than just parental income. If you had just said
But
parental
but the other environmental variables are an effect of the parental income.
Exactly.
the other environmental variables are a partial effect. There are also other effects which can have the opposite
perfect.
impact.
Okay,
there
I
are studies
don't-
on
I
the
disagree.
globe.
What do you need, Mama? Okay, just give me. Ma, give me a couple minutes.
Your parent.
No, you have to look at the net effect of all the things that parental income causes, right? So you can name negative things that being poor might cause, but the fact that in adoption research and in random shock research we don't see an effect of parental income on offspring income suggests that even if there are negative effects of low parental income, there are also positive effects, and that the net averages out to a null.
Okay, so you're telling me that the positive effects of having a poor parent balances out, or
This is not what I'm telling you. This is just like, what is your explanation for why
Okay.
the random shock and
Panini,
adoption
I'm sure you're bursting at the seams. You're ready to say something. I'm just gonna rephrase for the audience, just so everyone understands what what Sean just said. He's saying that the negatives of having a parent of a poor income is mitigated by the positives of it.
The negatives just aren't
Yeah.
nearly as significant as you imagine.
What are you
Okay,
talking
go
about?
for it,
This
go
is just
for it.
not true. I don't know what to say anymore, because it's like you've made such like an anti-intellectual point. It's almost scary. Like, the overwhelming research on this subject has showed that there is in fact an influence of parental income on child income. We only really need to prove a correlation here. Like, if you want me to prove a causation, it's almost impossible to prove a direct causation in any social science. Like, that's literally impossible. If you want me to say to a reasonable degree, well, controlling for multiple environmental factors that could possibly confound the ability of parental income to pass on to child, the 𝗷cie found that it is estimated at a correlation of 0.52 for men and 0.47 for women, right? And it also found that those people who are in the lower end of the income distribution have a much higher correlation with parental and income and child income, which asserts or confirms the idea of stickiness at the ends. It's completely and totally ridiculous for you to make this point, because essentially you're just arguing out of absurdity. If you want to prove that there's some sort of genetic confounding effect, you'd have to do 2 things in order to prove that that confounding variable even matters in this instance. Number 1, you would have to prove that there is a gene that affects income, which you haven't done. And number 2, you would have to put this into the data, and you would have to show that basically accounting for this variable would in fact meaningfully destroy the correlation between parental income and child income. If you don't do those 2 things, unfortunately, you're just resorting back to your slippery tactics, my friend.
Slippery tactics, dude. I don't know what to say. I've already told you, but I've referenced
Okay.
the research already. Yes,
If you have nothing more to tell us, if you literally just cannot grasp the concept of generational poverty and generational wealth, we have nothing else to do.
I understand the hypothesis, but empirically, it's not true.
Okay, you can say that, but as you're just like a schizophrenic. You're making up your own reality, you know? That's pretty much what you're doing here, man.
Okay.
But do you want to move on?
These 2 papers go over 3 adoption studies. All 3 of them find null correlations between adoptive parents and the income of their offspring.
At least 2. I find that adoptive have a modest. What are you talking about? I just read the first adoption study that you used. The abstract of the paper. Quote, I find that adoptive parents' education and income have a modest impact on child test scores, but a large impact on college attendance, marital status, and earnings. What are you on about, bro? Are you just making up your own reality at this point? Like, did you just read this wrong? Are you illiterate? Like, did you
No,
not
you'd have
read
to
your?
go in and read the.
Did you not read the abstract, bro, of your study? It literally says they found a correlation between child test score, parent income and child income. Like, what? Let me look at the second study. It probably does the same thing. Let me say. This one, the first one's about college.
So you look at.
This one's not even about income. This is about college admissions.
No, it looks at income as well. Again, you can't just read the abstracts of studies, guys. So if you go to the first study, for instance, if you go to Table 6, if you look at the third row of Table 6, it shows the regression for adoptive family socioeconomic status on the income of the offspring, and the coefficient is negative and statistically insignificant. Like, yeah, you got to read. I'm sorry.
Dude, the abstract literally says it has an influence on child earnings. Bro, what are you talking about? You're just like...
Bro! Like,
you're completely deluded yourself. I'm so sorry, man.
The row.
Okay. Look, if we can't get over this, Panini, there's literally no point.
Yeah, okay, let me... No, let me check this. Because I'm actually curious if what he's saying is true.
Hey, you know what you can do? You can check that, and then you can take it in your closing statement,
yes,
okay?
so table 6? Table 6? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
It's in Roman.
Okay, perfect.
Which page? Wait, this is... okay. Which study are we talking about?
Take it in the closing statement.
This is the nature and nurture...
26.
This is the nature and nurture of economic outcomes, correct?
Yes, on page 26.
26.
Okay. Perfect. Well,
Another
Panini reads that.
same thing for a second.
Okay.
Data set.
Regressions. Adoptive family socioeconomic status.
Panini, can you do this and then incorporate it into your closing statement?
Sure.
Because like this is so disappointing. Sean, do you want to do first closing statements, or do you want to do closing statements after us?
Wait, you think a core?
Wait,
Okay, sure.
Alright, go for it, Sean.
Sure.
What do you want to do, Sean?
Oh, it doesn't matter to me. I mean, do you have a preference?
Make your closing statement first. That's fine.
You just go ahead.
Okay. Well, we didn't really talk about a lot. I don't feel like. We got stuck up on a few issues. They all ended in just seemingly like us talking past each other. The gene environment thing, the residual correlation between group factors thing, now this and the income thing. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I feel like you guys just didn't understand a lot of what I was saying. Obviously, you guys probably feel the same way. It's probably a symmetrical thing. Nikolai, what can you say about what happened to Nikolai? He disappeared.
Sure.
Oh, and I feel like you maybe were about to... this could be totally wrong. I'm just guessing. Since this is my final statement, I'll make this guess. That it sounded like you were going to say something like that the correlation was significant between adoptive family socioeconomic status and family income because it was a negative 0.98. I don't know if that's what you were going to say, but those aren't standardized coefficients. If that was, so yeah, I mean, I guess that. At the beginning, I listed all the evidence that I think supports hereditarianism, and we ended up not talking about really any of it. So.
Okay. So let me begin this closing statement by saying something. I think it is unequivocally true that in every point that we discussed today, Slippery Sean and his disgusting debate tactics really came out today. It just seems like schizophrenic Sean over here likes to use his own really bad studies to try to prove his points, and all of his points just fall apart in the most seemingly amazing way. It doesn't seem to be in any way, shape, or form that he won this debate. I think today was clear that we completely won this debate. I believe that we proved that the hereditarian justification for, various different points is completely vapid and untrue. We proved not only this, but we also proved that there are significant differences when it comes to systemic poverty and generational wealth when it comes to black versus white people. It is absolutely the case that a lot of the things that we discussed today were completely debunked, and I believe throughout this entire discussion, Rose and I came up ahead. By the way, Nikolai, I think your girlfriend's calling. Is it Alden's number?
Dude, what the hell? I just got back.
Okay, well, we're ending the debate. Nikolai, I'm sorry.
Hey, Rose.
What up?
By the way, have you had vaginal sex in your life?
On occasion.
Because apparently Nikolai has never touched a vagina in
Okay,
his life.
we gotta chill. We gotta chill. Okay, we gotta relax. Okay. There's okay. He laughed. Okay. Holy shit. All right. Okay. Oof. Okay. Let's begin my closing statements. I agree with you, Sean. We didn't talk about a lot. But what we did talk about, we absolutely came out on top of, and we demonstrated how pretty much every single premise and definitely the conclusions of a lot of the things you laid out were unequivocally false. You said that we didn't understand things. That's, I mean, like, yeah, maybe like the like threshold here should be at least like, maybe I should set this for my next debate, like being able to like read studies and being just like vaguely familiar with like the general consensus on most of the topics here. Nikolai, I don't even know what was going on. Probably it would help a lot if when you enter a 2v2 debate, if you guys actually discussed and came to the same page on a lot of issues. That's my pro debate tip for the day. But finally, I just want to say that I'm incredibly disappointed. I spent months, and Panini did as well, studying for this, preparing for this. We thought this was going to be the creme de la creme of, you know, race realist and, you know, alt-right content. But we are incredibly.
This is a closing statement, Nikolai.
This is a closing statement,
Nikolai.
Nikolai. I want to say I'm incredibly disappointed. I thought this was going to be the creme de la creme. I thought this was going to be something that, you know, I would actually be like intellectually challenged or stimulated by. So far, none of that has taken place, and this is just further solidified my understanding that a lot of these topics that are often discussed through you know, by alt-right people have even people that spend like pretty much, you know, every waking hour of their day studying this is completely bunk and doesn't like stand up to the scrutiny of a 17 and a 15-year-old. But yeah, I'm just gonna
by two teenagers, dude. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna leave that there. Nikolai, if you want to make a closing statement.
Dude, he was here for
Well,
2
to be
minutes.
honest-
Why would he make a closing statement, dude? I'm
All
sorry.
right, do it. You have 30 seconds, Nikolai. Hit us with it.
Okay, well, I don't really know what happened because I didn't have time. I was putting up Christmas lights most of the time.
Well, maybe you should schedule debates when you don't have to put up Christmas lights. Thank you guys very much for at least
For this
participating.
opportunity. Yeah.
I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.
Yeah, see you guys. Holy fuck. Oh my god. Bro. Oh my god, dude. Oh, that was so satisfying, dude. Oh, I knew this was gonna happen. We shat on all of them. Bruh, I got it all the fucking shit at the end, bro.
How is he gonna plan a debate and then not show up? And how are they not gonna have just like a single like 5-minute phone call to make sure they're on the same page?
Bruh, this is so funny, dude. Oh man.
And Nikolai was the reason why we had to reschedule it to December as well in the first place.
True, yeah. It was not our fault at all. Yeah, no. It was literally just him, bro. Dude, I know that Nikolai's gonna get discommunicated from every circle now, dude. Oh.
Yo, I hope Sean last us as well, because that was fucking embarrassing.
That was embarrassing. Holy crap. He just lied like 3 times about his studies. That was so funny. He just blatantly lied, dude. Slippery Steve, bro. Oh, no, not Steve. Slippery Sean. I've watched Destiny too much.
Is this gonna be the next fucking, what's it called? Like the next like whenever somebody doesn't do anything or like is gone from the fucking, they're putting up Christmas lights.
Yeah, bro.
Bro,
Damn. Putting up Christmas lights, yeah, dude.
Yeah, it's not.
Oh shit, bro.
Jesus
Fuck me.
Christ.
That was so funny, dude. Holy fuck. Oh man. God damn, bro. Bro, I gotta go eat dinner, but I'll call you. I'll call
See you,
bro.
man. I don't know if I'll
See
see
you,
you speaking
buddy.
by then. I'm probably just gonna be.
No, you're
like,
probably just gonna drop out. Bye, chat, bro. It was nice. It was nice doing this with you. This is our claim to fame, bro. We're about to go really amazing shit. Stay fucking poggers. All y'all. Good night.
Bye bye, Panini.
Coming, mama! Coming. History.